So in today's video, I'll show you how to make a custom tree. Let's get right into it. So to start with, I'd like you to make some simple guidelines. So this is the trunk. We want a pretty tall tree. And then we're going to maybe have it extend out this far, let's say. I'm just going to make a rough shape. This will be the guideline. Of course, these won't be the branches in the end. We will change them. So you basically want a tall pillar with a cross shape on top. And this is where the canopy of leaves will be. Now let's start with the base of the tree. So we're going to do some little roots here. I like doing 2 and then a single one. And then finally a fence, and then none on this side. But you can maybe put a slab. Then you can just add simple things like another fence there maybe. You could also bone meal the ground or put a few bushes around here to make it a bit overgrown. And now moving up, you'll see that most trees in real life are a bit bent and not perfectly straight, so we can simulate that in Minecraft by adding in a few trapdoors every now and again. And here is where it gets a bit tricky. So you're going to think about those guidelines, but you can now start moving away from them. So we might bring some out here, as you can see. So we've got a nice bend that way. And personally, I don't like to connect the corners, as then it looks a bit too thick. You don't want the branch to be the main part of the tree, because up here it's mainly going to be leaves. And of course you can bring this trunk up higher and have these starting at different levels if you want. So here I'm going to bring it up like that, and then I'm going to do a diagonal and go up a level too. Just like that. And then you can bring it off to make smaller branches coming off of those bigger ones. And you kind of want to build it up here, because you don't want a load of leaves just sitting on top of these. You want to keep bringing the branches out maybe here now, so that they have something to cling off of, as generally in real life the leaves will hang down rather than building up on top of it. So you want to always have something it can hang down from. Only have maybe 2 or 3 at max on top of them. So now all you need to do is simply build a couple more shapes coming out in any direction you like. And this will just help make a guideline for where to place leaves. I'm now pretty pleased with the shape I've got here. I'm going to quickly move that up one. And as you can see, at the bottom, it looks like these bottom ones are forming a sort of bowl to hold the tree and leaves up. Now we want to start adding in the leaves simply. So I like to do this by just, first of all, spamming them all around a bit. Though, at the ends of these branches, you can add in some fences to add a bit more detail and depth. You can also do it in corners like that, and on top of them, where they go a bit high and want it to narrow out. While you're doing this, you can also try adding in some different leaves. So, for example, with oak, dark oak goes quite well, as it's the same kind of tree. And also try not to make loads of straight lines, so try and break it up a bit. For example, coming off like that, and then here I might add in a gap there. And we want to cover the fence gates fully though. And it's important to remember while you're doing this, you're not just placing them randomly, you're still following the guidelines you placed earlier with the branches. So for example here, I wouldn't want to go much lower, as in real life you wouldn't really see any trees with leaves dangling down that far. So try and imagine what a tree in real life would do. I would also like to note that if you're doing something like a willow where it's more like hanging, then you can take these sort of bundles and then just extend them down a bit and let them hang a bit. But remember to think about the weight still, as you wouldn't want the branches being too heavy that they fall off the tree. Once you've created a sort of bowl here with leaves on the bottom layers, then you can now come up top and it's much easier to fill this in. You don't want to fill in all the gaps, so remember to leave some gaps in it, like here, here, here. Then leave a couple of gaps. You want a few bits of light to be able to get through. As in a real tree, it wouldn't be fully solid with leaves. And after you finish the top layer and you're happy with it, and I would recommend having a few bits that go slightly higher so that you know that that's the top, then your tree is now done. But as you can see, it's pretty dark here. So if you want, you can get some torches quickly. You can get some of these and just place them in little gaps that you probably left in here. Then now add a bit of brightness to the tree that may be needed. So for example, here we can add a little torch and then cover it up with some leaves. To finish this off, we can just come around the base and add a little circle here, and just a simple one. So normally a circle using 3, then a corner, and then another 3 should work for this scale. Once you've done that, just add some slabs on top, and it makes a very nice container for your tree. As most trees of this size, you'd see a little container like that. And finally, just add in some lanterns in there. It brightens up the entire tree. And that's it done. But for some improvements, you can add in some other green blocks in here. For example, moss might go well in here. So you could add in a few blocks of that, and maybe a few bits of moss carpet if you like. Finally, I'd like to finish off by showing you a really simple custom tree that you can do. And it involves the azalea tree. So just grow one of these and then come in with the moss every now and again and add in some of this moss. And then I'll just add a tiny bit more detail to it and making it a very easy, but also quite nice looking in my opinion, tree. And you can still say it's custom as you have done quite a bit here. Depending on how much you do, it's more custom. So just add in wherever you think it should be added. And finally, to finish it off, we can plant some glow berries on these and then bone meal them to get some nice glowing vines. And the thing is, you can only place these on moss, which makes it a really nice addition to the tree and makes a good combination together. So there we have it, 2 custom trees. One here, which is a very simple one, which you can easily do on a more mass scale. And then this is a larger one that would be sort of a centerpiece of your village. And speaking of villages, I am making a village currently in hardcore, so there'll be a video out on that soon, so you should go and watch that. And also, you may have seen in the background some of these paths here, and you can see how to make them in a short video on my channel. So thank you for watching and goodbye.